people tell you that they cannot be secure, because they can. And I know a lot of people, you know, folks, I am a person who relies very little on government, doesn't believe in it, but I have to tell you, when it comes to this issue of borders and simply having, you know, people be able to cross, you know, goods, services, and people being able to cross borders at their will, because we look at the world and we say, what's the importance of borders? What do they matter? What's the importance of citizenship anymore? Does it really matter? Yes. The answer is yes. It matters greatly. If you are a citizen, it matters greatly if our borders are defended. So please understand that this will be a major undertaking for us. And as President of the United States, I can promise you this. There are many things I will not promise you. Will not. I will not create some sort of health care plan. That is your responsibility. I will not try to teach your children. That's your responsibility. There are things we do. I just wish I could inculcate. You know, if I'd have thought of it earlier, we'd have just had one bumper sticker with 2 words on it. And that would be my entire campaign. It's called individual responsibility. What an idea. I mean, isn't that amazing? Strange. Where would it come from, right? Who could possibly think of such a strange concept as individual responsibility? Now, if you have a flood, you know, or if there's some natural disaster, what is the first thing people's minds always turn to? You know, the federal government. What are you going to do? How are you going to get people looking at a rising rising water level in New Orleans, saying, "Where's the federal government going to? Where are they? Why haven't they come and gotten me in the bus?" Right? Well, you know what? It's not the federal government. When it happened here, when you guys had a flood, I mean, did anybody think to themselves, oh gosh, I guess I better not leave my house until the federal government sends a bus to get me? You know? Of course not. And when it was time to rebuild it, did you not rebuild it yourself? You did. I know you did. I know this happened up there. Now, of course, okay, we've now spent about $120 billion in Katrina relief. The federal post office still doesn't work in New Orleans. You know, and people still look to and they say, well, my house is gone. It went in the flood. How come the federal government hasn't rebuilt my house? I'll tell you why. It's not the role of the federal government to rebuild your house, even if it's lost in a flood. And believe me, I have compassion for every single person who lost them, you know, a loved one, any property or anything else. We just simply have to understand what are the roles of the federal government. Do you know, we've had 2 huge natural disasters in this country. In comparison to Katrina, they were bigger in terms of the amount of money, relatively speaking, the currency of the day, and the number of lives lost. Okay? They're the Chicago fire and the San Francisco earthquake. Both of those cities were rebuilt in 3 years. And both of them were rebuilt without 1 cent of federal money. How could that be? Now, I'm not opposed to. I mean, we have, you know, if the Corps of Engineers went down there and did something wrong, okay, you're going to have some responsibility. But my point is this, that we just have begun to look at the federal government for everything, for every protection that we can possibly imagine. We want a sort of a bubble built around us. Well, I cannot and I will not promise you that as President of the United States. I will not stand up in front of any group and fly any false flag about what it is I believe in and what I believe the federal role is in regard to our individual liberties. But I will tell you that it has a role in the security of this nation, and that security begins with the security of our own borders. So, let me just suggest to you that when you look at other candidates in this race, and they are now talking, it's amazing. Honestly, it is amazing. I listen to the commercials being played, and I'm thinking to myself, did we write these things or what? I mean, now everybody is for securing the border. Everybody's for going after illegal immigrants. That's great. Glad to hear it. Conversions, I know they happen all the time. I hope they're for real. That's all I can say. But I will tell you this. Please look at the records. Find out how many of them have been where they say they are today. How many of them have been there for their entire political life. Or how many of them, on the other hand, have just made the transition to becoming a secure border advocate? Hey, someone's going to stop sanctuary cities. How many of them just did this last week or the week before that because they're on the campaign trail and because this issue is now a huge issue? So look for consistency. Look for consistency in philosophy. As I say, I can't offer you, won't offer you a rose garden. Can't offer you this bubble of security that I know everybody wants. But I can tell you that what I do offer you and what I talk about and what I promise to do as President of the United States are things I can do and things I will do. And that is the only thing that I can guarantee you. I will live up to the promises I make to you today, here in New Hampshire, and the guy that is here on this stage is the guy that was elected to the legislature 30 years ago in Colorado, appointed by Reagan. I have not changed if you look on the back of the brochures, if we have any of our brochures around, you see this little scorecard. And it's got a score from every one of these different kinds of agencies, the right to life. Right to life, 100%. How long have I been 100% right to life? Since I was in the Colorado legislature 30 years ago. The NRA, how long have I been pro-gun? Since I was in the Colorado legislature 30 years ago. This doesn't change. These things don't change. My philosophies don't change. And yes, I am absolutely pro-life. And why? I'll tell you. It's got nothing to do with politics. It's got everything to do with what my Lord and Savior tells me about what life is all about. And he says, it's clear, and in the Bible it says, it tells Jeremiah, I knew you before you were in the womb. Right? Before you were in the womb. You, a person, not a mass of cells, a person. That is why I'm pro-life, and always have been. So, anyway, these are deep felt positions that I have taken, and I have stayed with, again, all of my political life. So I ask you to just review that, make your decisions on what you want to do in this, and I do hope, of course, for your support. But I also hope you'll do this. I do hope that you will pray for this country. I do ask you for prayers for myself and my family, for our safety and our health. But I also ask you for prayers for this country, because I happen to believe in the power of prayer. I believe that God does protect us, and I believe God will walk away from us if we do not ask for that healing power. So that's and you can do that whether you support me or not. You can always say a prayer. A prayer for the country, one for me and my family too. Thank you very much for letting me join you.